Everybody, this is Silver Maxis here, bringing you a not a duel. This is a deck profile on my Odd Eyes deck. So yeah, the new ban list just hit, and so yeah, a bit annoyed about that. But you know what? I'll deal with it. I mean, before the ban list, I had like 3 copies of Insight, and then Wavering Eyes. So whatever, you just diminished my deck to 40 cards and possibly nerfed it. I need to try it out. Regardless, I'm using a few of the new cards on here, Persona Dragon and Mirage Dragon. Seriously, whenever I hear Persona Dragon, I keep thinking of the Persona series. Anyways, I'm trying something new with my mic situation because I always keep breathing down into the mic, so I'm just using my laptop's microphone. So hopefully this works. Anyways, let's get into the deck profile. We got 3 Drago Pit Magician. He is a pretty awesome card because you put him in the Pendulum Zone, you have another Magician card in the other Pendulum Zone, you can discard a Pendulum card and destroy a spell and trap. Very useful because he's basically a built-in MST, or more like Twin Twister, only not as good. I mean, I have Twin Twister down there, but whatever. Next up is the big bad himself, Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. He is, our main guy. Don't really care too much about his effects. Mainly it's that he is a respawnable 25k beat stick, or 2.5k beat stick. God, I'm thinking Vanguard right now. I don't know why. Regardless, he's a 2.5k beat stick. He's able to search out for other pendulum monsters using his pendulum effect. He can hit for double damage against monsters that he faces against, and yeah, that's basically it. Next up we have, I refuse to call him his official English name, I will call him Destruction Magician. And he's basically in here for the same reason Odd Eyes is, the support. He is the beat stick, and I don't think I mean, I used to use his skill for going into Rebellion like once or twice, but not too much nowadays. Regardless, he's still a pretty good card, negate effects of light type monsters. Always good for taking out some cards like those damn Judgment Dragons. Ugh, I hate those things so much. Regardless, next up we have 3 Peasant Dragon Magician, or Oath Dragon Magician. God, the names in the TCG are so stupid. Regardless, he's able to grab cards from the extra deck, which is useful, especially since now Wisdom Eye is at 1. And when he's normal or special summoned, you can take a Odd Eyes or Pendulum or whatever card out of the graveyard, so that's always useful. Next up, we are running Persona Dragon, in which he's mainly just here for a rank 1, but his effect's pretty cool. Once per turn during the end phase, when an opponent has activated a card or effect that targets an Odd Eyes monster, or Odd Eyes Pendulum monster, but whatever, blah. You can special summon from the Pendulum Zone, and then just put another Odd Eyes from your extra deck into the Pendulum Zone. He's not bad. I will admit he's not bad. The problem is that the targeting thing, it's decent. Anyways, and for his monster effect, when he's special summoned, stupid thing. When he's special summoned, or wait, no, not when he's special summoned. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can target a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, and negate the effects until the end of turn. So very useful for cards like, say, DLs. DLs is annoying. And it's good for countering, other Pendulum plays, I tech in the 1 Skull Bad Joker. This guy is amazing because when he is normal summoned, you can add a Performer Pal, which unfortunately he can't really add himself because there's only 1 of him in the deck. And plus he says not to grab him. Basically any monster that I have in this deck, I can grab. Well, except Tuning Magician, but whatever. 1 Wisdom Eye Magician, he is your Scale Fixer. You can put him in the extra deck, and he will put a Magician Pendulum monster from the deck into the Pendulum. Now then, we have 2 of the Mirage Dragon, another level 8. Once per turn, if a face-up Odd Eyes Pendulum monster is destroyed by a card effect. You can destroy one card in your pendulum zone and place a face-up odd eyes from your extra deck into the pendulum zone. Basically the same thing, except for you can't special summon you don't special summon Mirage Dragon, which is a shame. I don't know. Honestly not that useful. And then during your turn, if I can... Jeez. Okay, here's the thing, guys, that it's really hard to look at these effects when you can't really look at the thing. Yeah, this is so unprofessional, I apologize. During either player's turn, if you control an odd-eyes monster in your pendulum zone, you can target one odd-eyes monster you control, and you can pretty much save them from death. It's not bad, and not too good either. Noble Dragon Magician, she's in here for tuning purposes, you know, to go into my rank 7 play, or level 7 plays, because these dragons are pretty good. 2 Tuning Magician, when in the graveyard, if you have two Magician monsters in the Pendulum Zone, you can special summon it, but it vanishes when it leaves the field, and when normal summoned or special summoned, your opponent gains 400, you take 400. Not the best card, but you know what, it's a tuner, it can special summon itself, it works for the archetype, you know, whatever. And then 2 Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon. I love this thing so much. This guy is crazy incarnate, you know. For one, you return all spell and traps to your opponent's hand without having them react. So it's pretty simple to take out an opponent's back row without most problems. And then it has the Black Flare Metal Dragon effect, where each time your opponent activates the effect, they lose 500. Very good, kind of a trolley card, but still pretty good. Now then, on to spells. We got Regeki, of course, standard, destroys all monsters on the field. Odd Eyes Fusion, you know, it's your standard fusion card, able to summon out our 2 fusion monsters here. 3 Pendulum Call, you know, because Pendulum Call. Discard a card, add 2 Magician Pendulums of a different name from your deck to your hand, and your opponent cannot destroy Magician cards. One issue though, this contradicts with this, because you try to destroy him, he stays in there, so you might want to be careful if you're using this card. 1 Terraforming to grab our field spell, Sky Arc or Sky Iris, in which cards in your Pendulum Zone cannot be targeted by effects, and you can destroy another face-up card to add an Odd Eyes card from your deck to your hand. A lot more useful now that we have Mirage and Persona. Not bad. Next up, Preparation of Rites, which is used to grab out our Gravity Dragon, and if we've already used the card, we can grab one of our Odd Eyes Adovento from the graveyard. God, whenever I hear this card's name, it makes me think of the Advent cards from Kamen Rider Ryuki, but I digress. Anyways, this card is used to ritual summon any dragon-type ritual monster from your hand or your graveyard. That is pretty impressive. And like this one, if your opponent has 2 or more monsters on the field, you can use two Odd Eyes monsters, or you can use Odd Eyes monsters from the extra deck to perform the fusion summon, or ritual summon, or whatever. And next up, to Twin Twister, you know, discard a card, destroy 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field. Very good. Next up, we have our 3 traps, Bottomless Trap Hole, Torrential Tribute, and Solemn Warning. Good floodgate cards, very useful, especially in this day and age where pendulum summoning is a thing. Now on to the extra deck. Starting off with fusions, we have Rune Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Mainly just run him in here just in case I have to face against a bunch of smaller monsters just to clear off the field. Besides, I don't really like running more than 2 of a powerful monster, because, you know, it just feels, okay, call me cliche, but it makes me feel like an anime protagonist. Let's be honest. Next up is Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. This thing is a beast. Just for one, it compulses your an opponent's face-up attack. This is your monster. And 2, it has an effect where you can shuffle a pendulum monster from the extra deck into the deck, and you can negate the activation of one of a monster effect or spell or trap card. This card is pretty crazy, just saying. Moving on, let's start over here for the synchros. We got Catastor, just in case, you know, we have Tuning Magician, and then one of our level 4s, either Wisdom Eye, Joker, or Persona. Oh wait, no, Persona's level 5. Derp. I am a derp. Regardless, you know, he's good for helping out with stuff. Might replace him with Goyle Guardian now that I only have 2 targets, but you never know. Next up, we have Moonlight Rose Dragon, where if it's special summoned or a level 5 or higher monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, you can bounce back a special summon monster. Very useful. Unfortunately, that means that it's going to be public enemy number 1 for your opponent. Luckily, you might be able to save him with this Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. You know what it does. You know, if your opponent activates a level 5 or higher monster's effect, then you can negate the activation. And if it targets one of your level 5 monsters, you can also negate the activation. And if you do, you can gain the monster's attack points if it was a monster that activated the effect. Moving on, we have Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon, where it's special summoned. You can target a card in the Pendulum Zone and special summon it, but this card cannot attack for the rest of the turn. And your opponent cannot activate cards during the battle phase. And yeah, pretty useful. I don't really summon this guy out as much. It's more Vortex that I summon out. Or Gravity. But Gravity, it's a given because, you know, Ritual Monster. Next up, we have Enlightenment Paladin, when he is synchro summoned using a Magician Pendulum Monster, which is pretty much everything that I can use. I mean, it's pretty much Tuning Magician, Dragon Pit Magician, or Destruction Magician. It works. Anyways, you can target a spell card in your graveyard and add it to the hand. Then its other effect is basically Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. When you destroy a monster, you can inflict damage equal to your opponent's, or equal to the monster's attack. So very useful. Next up, we have the evolved form of Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Once per turn during either player's turn, when another person activates an effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, then it gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack, blah blah blah. I mean, it's an okay card, but, you know, people are probably going to go for Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, considering the effects that it can do. Sorry, I burped a little. I mean, if you needed to go into him and you couldn't get into Clear Wing, I guess that he'd be a good backup or whatever. And next up is, oh my god, this card is crazy. Nirvana High Paladin. And please, in the comments, do not make any Smoke Weed Everyday references. Especially you, Kudon. And actually, Selly makes more Smoke Weed Everyday references. Regardless. His Pendulum effect. Pendulum monsters you control take no damage, and at the end of the damage deck that a Pendulum monster was attacked, all monsters your opponent controls lose attack equal to that monster's attack. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty crazy. However, you're probably wondering, how the heck is he supposed to get into the Pendulum Zone? Well, this is how it works. First off, when he's synchro summoned, for one, you can treat a Pendulum summoned Pendulum monster as a tuner. Seriously, what the flying flip? Just, oh my god. The only problem is that I can't find a level 2 Pendulum monster that would work in conjunction with Enlightenment Paladin, and that's what Yuya uses to special summon this guy in the anime. But, whatever. We'll find out something eventually. Regardless, so when he's synchro summoned, you can add any card from your graveyard to the hand. This is good, and when it destroys a monster, you halve your opponent's life points. Holy crap. And then if it was destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place it in the pendulum zone. So yeah, pretty useful. The only problem is, it's level 10. You can't really get a, 10, no, it would be a scale 11, in order to summon this guy. It is pretty tough, or actually pretty much impossible. Regardless, very good card, and yeah, I've used him quite a few times, actually, or I think I've used him at least once. I'm not sure. Regardless, now that we have Mirage Dragon, it'll be a lot easier. I mean, I guess you could just use, what's his face? Time Gazer, but who wants to use Time Gazer? Regardless, rank 4s, we have our staple cards, Castell, Selenar's Arc, Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, because it wouldn't be a Yuya deck without Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Jesus, this card is amazing. Rank 7s, we've got number 11 Big Eye, you know, for taking out those, or for, taking control of big monsters and stuff. You know, all your base R belong to us and all that jazz. Odd Eye's Absolution Dragon, in which this card's pretty good. Attach an Xyz material and negate an attack when any player's monster declares an attack. So, yeah, pretty good for combo plays, but also pretty good for just stopping your opponent in their tracks, you know? And then you can special summon an Odd Eyes monster from your hand or graveyard when you do this. And if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Odd Eyes from the extra deck. So, yeah, this card is really good. And then the one card that I rarely pull off is Odd Eye's Rebellion Dragon. To be perfectly honest, it's a pretty good card. It's a pretty decent card, it's just really hard to pull off. Once per turn, if you have no cards in your other Pendulum Zone, you can place it in the Pendulum Zone. But you're probably wondering how it gets in the Pendulum Zone, which is, if it's destroyed, you can destroy cards in the in your Pendulum Zone as possible, and place this card in the Pendulum Zone. So, not bad. Now then, it can be, and also it can be pendulum summoned, if you can pendulum summon a level 7, so that's pretty good. So yeah, I can expect this guy to be summoned more from the extra deck than actually put in the pendulum zone. I think the Nirvana High Magician is much more deserving of that spot. Anyways, if this Xyz summon card is used as an Xyz monster as a material, namely this guy, which I'd have to use this guy, you can destroy all monsters that are level 7 or lower, level 7 or lower, damn it Skype, as possible, and inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent for each of their monsters destroyed. And then I can attack 3 times during the battle phase. It is a good card. It is so hard to summon, though. Anyways, guys, that's been pretty much my deck profile. This has pretty much been a test to see if my laptop mic will actually work. Thus, I don't have to go through the of using my microphone. Anyways, guys, this is Silver Maxis, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.